Hey guys, it's 93 Roslyn and we're doing another cooking video. It's been a while, but I hope that you guys like it. Today we're going to be making creme brulee. So here's what we're going to be using today. What do we got? Here we've got vanilla bean paste. You can use a whole vanilla bean for this. It's probably recommended. But today, as this is probably better use for our money, we're going to be using the paste. It's still very expensive, but it's nice stuff. We use a lot at TAFE. So here I've got 3 egg yolks, but they are quite small. So you'll probably only need 2 normal egg yolks. And here, I'm dripping over, I've got 1 cup of thickened cream. And over here, we've got 1/4 cup of caster sugar. We are going to need more caster sugar to put on top to make the toffee, but we'll see. You know, this is just what we need for this recipe. And here's our setup with the bain-marie. So we're going to be cooking in these ramekins. They're just from Philo. They're kind of a medium size. We're only going to be making enough for 2 creme brulees today with this recipe, since can't really fit but much more in this oven. Yeah, this will be enough for us too. And we've got a Pyrex bowl which we're going to do it in. But if you have a baking tray about, you know, the same size, that is going to be tall enough for you to put hot boiling water up to about halfway in the on the ramekin, because that's what you need for a bain-marie. So we're going to be cooking this in a very low oven. I think we're going to be using one, you probably want to use about 140, okay, for this recipe. So we'll get started. Alright, so here we have our egg yolks and our sugar, and we're going to whisk these up until they go that pale, nice colour that we did in our other video, until they're smooth, all the sugar's dissolved. And while you're doing this, you want your cream and your vanilla bean paste. So 1 vanilla bean or a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste. And we want this to not boil, but we want it to come up near the boil. So I'll just whisk in these and then we'll see. So we have creamed our sugar and our yolks together, and as you can see, they've become a much paler colour. So that's just, we're going to set that aside while we're waiting for our milk to come up. So, of cream, sorry. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to slowly pour our cream into our egg mixture, but we have to make sure that we don't curdle the eggs. So we're going to add a very little bit at a time, and you're going to whisk it a little hard out to make sure that it doesn't curdle, because the last thing we want is to cook these eggs, just neat. As the custard's in the oven, it will cook the custard a bit more, and it'll become a lot thicker, which is what we want. But we don't want it to curdle it, which is why we put it in a bain-marie, so that it doesn't cook it at a hot enough temperature that it will curdle. It cooks it very slowly, very gently, and very evenly too. So that is our custard done. Now what I've heard is that when you make this and you have a lot of bubbles on top, you don't want bubbles. Because they will create, you know, bubbles in a custard, and you don't really want that. I've seen people do the blowtorch trick over it. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to probably transfer it into a better bowl so it doesn't melt the bowl for one. And then I'll try it and see how it goes, and if it works, I'll let you guys know. Okay guys, if you saw that, that was me trying to blowtorch all the bubbles off, and it actually did work quite well. As you can see, there's just a few bubbles around the outside, but otherwise it's very smooth, and hopefully that will help our mixture. So what we're going to do is we're going to really transfer it into a pouring container, and then we're going to pour it into these molds, and we're going to then do the next step. Okay, so these are our ramekins, filled quite high actually. We probably could have used three ramekins and maybe had a little bit left over. If you want to do it to about 3/4, probably the best idea, but we'll see how this goes. So the next step is to make a bain-marie. So we're going to pour hot water just till about halfway in this. We're going to take our molds out because we don't want them to get any water in them while we're doing this. So probably should have done them outside of it, but you know, we learn as we go. So we're going to do that. Okay, so we've now got our custard in the oven in the water bath, and we've got that on for 40 minutes at 140. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, we're back from baking them. So when you take them out, they will still have a wobble. If you can see that, they still slightly wobble, and we kind of want that because we don't really want to set them all the way, because they will set more as they cool and when they're in the fridge. So we are just going to leave these out of the water, and we're going to leave them until they cool. Then we're going to glad wrap them and stick them in the fridge for about 3 to 4 hours until they're fully set. And then we're going to do the next part. Okay, see you guys in a bit. A long time. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours, and I have noticed that my custard is still quite runny. So I think if you were going to do this recipe at home, if you added about a tablespoon or 2 corn flour to your egg yolk mixture in the beginning, and whisk that in with the sugar, then it will set a bit firmer and it won't be so liquid. So here we've got our sugar on top of our custard here, and we're just about to blowtorch it. This is my new blowtorch. So I did just do a practice one, so we will see how this one goes on camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to start our blowtorch. You want it on a light flame, you don't want a heavy flame. That's what me and Mum, we think, did bad last time, and we just burnt it and it didn't taste very nice at all. So start your blowtorch, and we're just going to do it really gently because we don't want to burn it too quickly. We want to kind of cook it slowly. And we're going to do this in 2 steps. We're going to mostly melt all the sugar on top. It doesn't matter if you get a few black bits or really dark brown bits, because that's just caramelized. That's really nice. You want to melt all your sugar. And we're just going to leave that for a little bit, and I'm going to do this other one. We're going to just do a quick one for the last stage, and this will help set it a bit more. Because we want this toffee, we want it to have a really nice crunch to it. We want it to be really yummy, and we want it to have that tough toffee-like texture on top, and then that smooth custard in the middle. So now I'm just going to set these back in the fridge for just about 5 minutes, just to cool them back down again. You don't probably have to do this, but it will set the toffee a bit more and your custard again, which will go warm from the blowtorching. Okay, so I've let them set in the fridge for about 5 minutes, and they are quite hard. So this is the sound that you're looking for. So, because that gives you that nice crunch when you bite into it. So, I hope you guys like this tutorial, and I hope that you guys try it. Remember that if you don't like yours that liquidy, then you should probably add a bit of corn flour. That won't really change the flavour, but it will make sure that the texture is quite thick and creamy, which is what you kind of want in that creme brulee. So this is my recipe, and like, favourite and subscribe if you enjoyed it. So I'll see you guys next time.